This Monday night, we're sending you back to the podcast.
Oh, jeez. Hey.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Josh Delgado, here with my sister Glenda Delgado. And we got a lot of DC to go over. I know you got some thoughts about last week. It's 90% DC out here, so
yeah.
Let's just get to the which one you want to go with the big boy, you want to go with Superman, or you want to start with Wonder Woman? Which one you want to start with? I got more on Superman. A lot of thoughts.
Okay, let's start with Wonder Woman then. Let's start with Wonder Woman.
So we already talked about last week.
I'm drinking for this, by the way, everybody. This is just too much.
So Patty Jenkins does deny the reporting from last week that she walked away for Wonder Woman. Pretty strong quotes seem to be factual that she went off on them. And then she didn't want to. It seemed it's all legit as far as she didn't want to talk. She didn't want to hear from James Gunn. James Gunn didn't cancel it, by the way. The producers are
James Gunn is what? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
He didn't cancel Wonder Woman. The original producers canceled it, but she went off on him too. I guess he could save it if he wanted to. I guess maybe.
Yes.
I can see that. She didn't say that.
Yeah, all of you guys get mad at Kathleen Kennedy, right? So get mad at him too. Because apparently Kathleen can't save it, so James Gunn can save it too.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy is a whole nother story. She has not done a good job at all. But that's a different
conversation.
When
I'm just saying, if she gets blamed, James Gunn should get blamed.
But there's no. Well, that's the thing. There's no blame. There's no blame to go around because he's rebooting. He's rebooting the universe. This is not his universe. He didn't come here to do Zack Snyder's universe. This is not Zack Snyder in charge. What are you gonna do? Continue these stories that they've been sucking for like I don't know how long they've been going at this point. They're bad.
Do you know what you sound like?
The second movie was bad.
But that's exactly how probably people felt about Star Wars, right? Kathleen was like, "Where are we gonna keep, Star Wars or that universe that they had?" Because obviously I don't agree. I completely disagree. But your argument is it would go for Kathleen if she gets so much hate. She said anyway, it wasn't her idea. It was more Bob Iger's idea to like create a whole new universe and it's all his now. I mean, I'm sorry.
Those are two different situations. There's no multiverse. There's no multiverse in Star Wars. What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. There's no multiverse in Star Wars. There's books and then there's the movies. There's a whole different story. The whole multiverse is a more recent idea, first of all. But Star Wars, obviously, it's all about a continuing story. It's always been about a continuing about the Skywalker saga.
But why does the
because in comics they've been doing it since the 80s of rebooting a universe or having different universes. It's a known thing if you read the comics since the 80s. That's not a thing for Star Wars at all.
Oh, actually, you're wrong.
Really.
Do you watch Rebels?
No.
Rebels is canon, and it's introducing the idea of a multi-universe and interdimensional
What did you just say? Introducing the idea. First of all,
they're basically telling you it exists.
Most people,
but
a lot of people don't watch the cartoons and TV shows.
But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist in Star Wars. You said it doesn't exist across the board. It does exist.
It's still a new idea, and it's not a Star Wars specific thing. When the new Star Wars came out, when they saw that they're going back to the original characters, I work with a lot of older guys. They don't go to those movies anymore. They went for the new ones because like, oh, you know what? I might actually go this one. It's got the original cast. Like it's not those guys aren't following. They're not diehard people. Like there's a lot of fandom. There's different levels to Star Wars because Star Wars obviously there's different levels to it.
I think people like it for different reasons. And I would say that's the same for DC. I'm just saying they're parallel in that way, that the fans love it for different reasons. You just said nobody wants a Snyderverse. Why would he continue that? I'm just saying what George Lucas had was sort of the Lucasverse, if you want to put it that way.
I'm saying they brought him in to put his own stamp and fix it and do something. It's hard to come in and follow somebody else's vision. Like he's doing what's best for the franchise.
And I get that. Look, by the way, I love how James Gunn writes. I actually, as much as like we were talking about last time about his tweets or whatever, and that could mean anything like you were saying. It was taken out of context, fine. I actually do enjoy his writing. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved the holiday special. I think he writes with a lot of heart. But I just think that just because Henry Cavill is from the Snyderverse universe, like you're saying, Henry Cavill, first of all, didn't even want to do that universe anymore. He didn't want the dark version. He was excited to bring a refreshed different version that everybody wanted. James Gunn can do that. It didn't have to be the Snyderverse version. And just because he wants to do this, oh, I want to do the younger version of Superman and his time at the the Daily Planet. Fine, that's fine. That doesn't mean that the other Henry or the other Superman can't exist. You're keeping the fucking Flash, and that guy's so fucking problematic.
They're
And we're keeping that movie.
they're trying not to cut their losses on that, and also it's
but
that movie. I know you don't follow trailers and follow stuff like that. That movie is all about resetting the universe. So, and more than likely, that movie is going to reset it to the James Gunn universe because that's what that whole movie's about.
And that's fine. Look, I don't mind. I'm sure what James Gunn will bring, to be honest, as much as it pains me, everything he's doing will probably be great. I just don't think that means cancel Henry Cavill. But we were still talking about Patty Jenkins. We're not even we jumped straight to Henry
jumped
Cavill.
in the gun.
I did, yeah.
Look,
but I jumped on gun. I jumped the gun on gun.
Yeah. The second movie, I know you like it. A lot of people don't like it because the first movie hold on. But we talked about this before. Like in the first movie, it was a genuine collaboration.
Oh, we're going to Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Sorry, there was a lot of people involved in the first movie. The second movie, they gave her free reign. And that free reign, I don't think panned out, in my opinion. And a lot of people's opinion is like it's mixed. So a lot of people do like it. It's more the first one. It's more regarded. It was a good movie, minus maybe the ending, because the ending was like CGI slugfest. I don't like that. Black Panther had the same problem, CGI slugfest at the end. But it was a good movie. The second one, they gave her free reign, and the choices she made were not really good. She wasted a lot of talent in that movie. And her hubris showed in the way she walked out with the third one.
I think rewatch it. Because I always believe in rewatching things too. I don't know if you ever do that sometimes when you don't like something. Like, okay, because I always feel like watching a movie is part of like your mindset, the experience, the people that you're with. If you're like at a theater and everybody's cheering, all that stuff, right? And if you go in watching Wonder Woman 2 after watching Wonder Woman 1, it doesn't work. But I think if she had started with Wonder Woman 2, it's just that it was a completely different tone. I think she was going for that 80s vibe. I thought it was cool, but yeah, there were things missing. To me, it was specific things. It wasn't the whole movie. It was the chemistry between Wonder Woman and Steve. Like, I felt like that needed to build up. I didn't feel that chemistry that they had in the first one. It was little things that didn't bring it out for me, but it was fun overall.
How do you feel about the Trevor not really being Trevor? It's another dude that she's taking.
Yeah, I've heard that complaint. You know what? I don't care how long.
I'm just saying the roles will be reversed.
Yeah, exactly.
Because apparently
years has that role been reversed?
And it's confusing because apparently he only looked like Steve to her, I guess, but she knew it was the other guy. I don't know. Everybody else he looked like himself. Right. It's very confusing.
I agree. That's fine. If people want to have issue with that, it's on them. For me, it's like we've been doing that for so long to women in films. Like, oh my gosh, this one time that we do it to a man. To me, it's not the biggest deal. But I get it. I get the argument. It's fine.
I just don't like they wasted the talent. Like, I love what's her name, the Ghostbuster girl. What's her name?
Oh, I love her, Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. She's one of my favorites. I love almost every movie she's in.
Yes. She kills it.
I felt like they wasted her. I felt like they wasted Pedro. This is like, oh man.
I enjoyed them. But it was like more on the camp side.
At the end of the day, though, he's clearly just rebooting the universe. That's why Gunn's not going to save it, because it's like, well, we're rebooting the universe anyway. We don't need a part 3. I think in his mind, like, I didn't cancel it, but why would I save it? You know what I'm saying?
But why not work with Patty though? She said in her email that her message, her note that she wrote, that she was willing to do work with them even if they didn't like her pitch or the vision she
saving face.
I don't know. I believe
Hollywood, it. You can't. Yeah. Well,
no.
Hollywood, you got to change your tune real quick because they'll cut you out in Hollywood. So I'm sure she does want to work with them now, because like, oh, I can't. You don't want a reputation in Hollywood, because I'm telling you, like, they're getting these young directors now. They'll cut off these good and known directors now. They don't care anymore. Like, there's no more Spielbergs and Lucases, like, and they're not even on top of their game. So,
but you don't know that. And on top of that, James is very honest. People are saying that they love that he's tweeting and being real with everybody. No, that's not true. This is true. This is not true. He could have easily said, no, we tried. She didn't want to work with our ideas.
But it wasn't even
On
his
top of that, like
ideas.
we can't like shoot her down because one movie nobody liked. When she did Monster and she did Wonder Woman, both were the first one, both were excellent. And still in two, if you didn't like it, she did do the casting. The storylines were there, they just weren't maybe executed well. Fine. How many times we were just talking about how Taika Waititi was, now being shunned for one movie that people didn't like, but he's still great. Like, I just feel like
But he
I'm
didn't.
sure they
It's
could
not.
have still worked with her.
He didn't lash out and walk out. That's the difference. That's why she was walking it back. You have to
That's what
walk
you
it
think,
back.
though. You don't know, and yeah, maybe that's fine. I mean, I totally get that. You have to, if she
And
did
yeah,
talk shit and she's walking it back, that's fine. I mean, it's a smart business thing to do,
yeah, because
whatever.
you
But
don't
we
want to
don't know.
be like the director in Chronicle, because when his the Fantastic Four movie came out, he went off in the studio and blah blah blah. That dude never freaking worked again because they don't take that no more.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
and I'm sure
But I don't look. This is what I was
yeah,
going to say too. Is that if you watch the special features on HBO Max with Patty Jenkins, she actually loved Wonder Woman. Was obsessed with Wonder Woman as a child, and she put the original Wonder Woman, Linda
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter in it because she was obsessed. This is someone who loved and would have done anything to continue to work with Wonder Woman. So that's the only reason why I'll lean towards believing what she wrote, because I don't think she wanted to let it go. I wouldn't want to. If I was, I am I'm a filmmaker now, and if I had that kind of opportunity and I love this character so much, like Star Wars, for example, I would work with them. What's your vision? Okay, let's work. I would still want to, I think she wanted to be a part of it. So I'm sure maybe she had came off as having attitude for having an opinion. I've watched her in her interviews. She seems nice. She seems so obsessed. She seems like a geek and like a nerd and obsessed with this character. So I feel like she would have worked with them, but whatever. I don't know what James Gunn has in mind, or maybe feels like their ideas won't mesh. I guess I think it's more that he has his own vision and feels like they're not complementary, maybe. But I also
Yeah.
hope that just because he's running the show, that it's not just one tone or his tone. I mean, I don't know. I just
Well,
feel like it's good to have other
he
voices too.
he's obviously worked with Kevin Feige at this point, and like not everybody wants to work with Kevin Feige either because he's very controlling. It's like
Yeah,
they lost Edgar Wright because of that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But overall, it works. But you have to have a certain vision of what's going to happen, and his vision is rebooting the thing. I understand why keep making these movies. I mean, for the fans, it would have been nice. I like Harry Cavill as Superman. I do like him as Superman.
Yeah.
Well, I don't love him as Superman, but I like him. I should say I like him as Superman. I like him as an actor because I liked him
Right.
from The Witcher.
But
I didn't
wouldn't
like him
you
as
have been? But wouldn't you have
but
been excited
I
to
would have
see
liked to
a
see it one more
version?
time. Yeah, yeah, I would have
Yeah,
liked to see it
and
one
the
more time.
James Gunn version. Imagine that. Like James Gunn, I'll give him credit. He's very good. Like I would have loved to have seen a James Gunn version of Henry Cavill. I mean, I just feel like I don't know. That part I don't understand. I feel like maybe Patty Jenkins, that stuff upset me, and I was glad to hear that it's not that Gal Gadot's gone. It's just that he's not going to work with Patty, and that really upset me. But yeah, maybe they just don't. He feels like they can't collaborate for whatever reason. She feels like they can. Sometimes people have their own perspective in a conversation, and they both feel right in those conversations. Um, but the Henry Cavill thing, that one's just so upsetting for me. Like that's like my generation's Superman. Yes, I
Christopher
had
Reeves is not
Christopher
your
Reeve.
generation Superman.
I wasn't even born when the first one came out,
Oh
and
my
then I
gosh.
saw.
So what? We saw as kids. This is totally your generation. We're 40 what?
But I don't think that's our generation. I feel like your generation is when you
Yes, it
see it, when
is.
you come out. Now, I didn't go to the theaters to see Superman. I
What
see
year
it
did
now when it comes out.
Superman 2 come out? I mean, we saw it all the time at home, yeah, but it's still your generation
I never
Superman.
no, I don't believe that's my generation. Your generation is when you get to experience it when it comes out. Like I don't
Whatever you
think like
grow up
just
with.
because. Yeah, I don't. It's what. Yeah, you're passionate about a character that you grew up with, but like, could Christopher Reeve have played Superman when I was a teenager or when I could see it premiere? No, he couldn't have. That like, I can't say that. If Friday watches the original Star Wars and then sees like the and sees them and says, "Oh, that's her generation." I could see why she enjoys them, and I enjoy the originals, but Henry Cavill was our generation to enjoy, to see him have new movies, to go
I
to
don't claim him.
theaters.
That's the weak version of Superman. I don't claim him. I'll claim the cartoon before I claim him.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying for me, that's why I'm heartbroken about it for me. And a lot of people are saying that, that he's their generation Superman. I'm not.
Uh,
It's not like this like singular or weird
so
idea.
Harry Cavill, he's getting his karma right now because we all know he jumped ship on Witcher because he had
No.
Superman. He
Well,
jumped ship on Witcher.
but he also wasn't happy. Let's be
The
honest.
timeline don't
He
add
also
up. I
wasn't
mean, just
happy
say
with
because
the
I have on here. Let's see. There were talks about recasting him as far as back as season 2. Didn't happen. Obviously, he stayed on.
yeah.
So as soon as Superman came up, it's like, oh yeah, I'm out, bitches. Like, and guess what, bitch? You're not even gonna be Superman. All right. Now he has Amazon show. His next project is going to be a video game adaptation. It's not a. It's 90% going to go through. It's called Warhammer. I don't care
Oh
about
yeah,
Warhammer. I
I
don't
do.
play that. Do you
Okay,
play
well I do.
Warhammer?
So I'll tell your fans I love Warhammer. It's a fucking awesome game. Yeah, I do play it. I'll
What
geek
the
you
hell is
in
Warhammer? Is there even
it.
characters in there? Or is it just
Yeah,
like
so
robots?
it's like Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a board game. It's fucking amazing, and you could do different. It's easier to play. I mean, you could play harder versions, but it's easier to play than Dungeons and Dragons. And
Is
basically, you're battling each other. You have a board. You have
I
your.
I like those kind of games, but is there a main character in those games?
That's what I don't understand. There are,
Yeah,
but
there
I'm not
are.
familiar with the one that he's gonna do. He's because there's different campaigns and different battles. Like we have Age of Sigmar, but he's doing the like I think the classic. I think it's the classic. Um, the Warhammer
Okay.
40,000, 40K.
I question how good this is gonna be.
I'm curious too. I mean,
And Amazon is real hit and miss when it comes to TV
I
shows.
know.
Real hit.
So I'm curious too. I'm gonna keep hope. He's passionate about this game. Like he's
And
been
as an
playing.
opportunity, hey, let's get back on track with The Witcher. Since we're talking about The Witcher, we'll go back to DC. But since we're talking about it, I've been holding. I held this update because Renee doesn't know anything. So the showrunner Lauren S.
Renee,
Hisrich
you did good. It's okay.
the showrunner Lauren S. Hisrich was begging fans to stay. Uh, and we talked about the writer, how they mocked this. I think we talked about how he was saying the other writers were mocking the source material and whatnot. Lauren and her part claim it's not true. she loves the source material. So once again, it's like he said, she said. I believe the initial reports, to be honest, but
What were the initial reports?
there was a writer that left the show as well, and he was
Yeah.
saying the other writers were just mocking the source material.
Mm.
And she's saying, "Oh no, I love the source material. We love the source material." I don't know.
Did you watch all of it? Did you watch the second season too?
Oh, what, Witcher?
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched all of it. Isn't it been
you
three
watched
seasons
all
or
of it.
just two?
Just the two.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I play the game, and it's definitely more serious, more scary.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure the games are different than the books. Um, so apparently, there's a lot of book readers that watch the show. I'm not one of them, so it don't affect me. I think the show's quality. I think it's good. It don't. So I can't say, oh, it's and I don't really prescribe to. It has to be 100% to the source material. You always should respect it, use it, but never.
Right.
It can't never be 100. That's why I'm so happy that the whole multiverse and the comics started, so people can
Yeah.
understand. Like, oh, that's not how it is in the comics. Well, it's never. It's a different universe. It's never gonna be exactly like the comics. Comics are the comics. Go read them. Go read the book.
Yeah.
Jurassic
I
Park.
agree.
I love the book. I love the movie. They're really different, and yet the spirit is there, so it works. Like as long as the spirit's correct, it's there. You don't
Yeah.
change it like ridiculously. There's a balance. It's you got to find the balance, whatever your mark. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it's not. It could never
It's a
be exactly
different.
like the book. So
Well,
relax.
it's a different medium, so you got to tell it
Yeah,
in a
it's
different
not
way. Yeah.
exactly.
But I agree. To be honest, I actually don't know the book material, but
Exactly. None of us
sometimes,
do.
but I'm just saying it did feel campy sometimes where I felt like it could have been serious. Like they were comparing it to Game of Thrones, and it could have been. It wasn't Game of Thrones, but I think it could have gone there. The
I
storylines
don't like
enough.
I don't like the Game of Thrones comparison because there's not going to be that as many characters. So Game of Thrones is like a whole fucking entourage of people and characters and different storylines. It's not that.
That's the thing. There
At least
are.
if you play the game, it's not that. So I don't know. I can't speak for the books. But if you play the game, it's not that. You're following Gerald's story.
Well, if you play the game, yeah, you're only playing Geralt, but or Geralt, but there are even within the game, there are different characters that have storylines that you're meeting. Like, I think it still could have been Ciri has her own storyline. His love interest.
They're trying. They have their. I just get lost to who's who sometimes because they don't give them a lot of time to flesh them out.
Yennefer is such a cool character. She goes off on her own campaigns.
Yeah,
Like, honestly, I think that sometimes it did. I felt like the dialogue was lacking sometimes, but I mean, I loved it. My favorite character was from the first season, which was Calante. She was just so good. The mother, the grandma, actually, she was
the one that
so.
teaches them.
She's the queen, but she like goes to war and
Oh
she
she's
walks
badass.
in bloody after battle. Like, oh, I would have like the fact that they killed her, which I understand, but like if they could have kept her, she was definitely added such a great element to the show. You know, I don't know. I mean, it was good, but it also felt like sometimes it was lacking in certain areas, and I can see why maybe someone felt that they were mocking the material. But I don't know the original source material, so.
So let's go back to James Gunn in DC. I'm gonna say as my friend Eric's been saying, Renee's old bandmate. Hashtag let James Gunn cook. We're rebooting the universe, and it's not all bad for Henry Cavill and everybody, because so Jason Momoa is rumored to be it's going to get recast as Lobo, and Henry Cavill. This is less official, way less official, but they're saying he might be Hyperion. He's a really strong character. Well, actually, that's Marvel. He might be a Marvel character. Actually, Hyperion's Marvel.
Ooh.
But James Gunn is looking to recast Henry Cavill as a different character in DC as well. So they're not just flat out kicking. Even Ben Affleck's coming back to direct something. He's not just throwing him in the wind. I guess he just wants this Justice League to be younger. So you got to go from younger characters.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll see. I mean, I've had now a whole week to process the depressing news, but
you want to tell everybody how you were going off in my text messages or no? Yeah, I think so.
You can screenshot it.
It's not
James Gunn. You disappointed me. I love your films. But I don't care. I don't care what he's got to do. It's what he can do. He can.
They had how many movies they had how much time to make his a super movie to make a good Justice League movie. It didn't happen. I mean, enough is enough.
Yeah, they're all to blame. Did you see Christopher Lloyd's comments? You should screenshot that on Henry Cavill's post.
No,
he just basically was like showing him love. Like a lot of celebrities are like, oh, because he was just so great as Superman. It's just so, and it would have been so.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
He was great as The Witcher.
Okay, but even if you don't like the film, just see him as Superman, and he's just so good. He was just so good.
Not really.
You just said it yourself. He's a great actor, and like put him in something.
No, I started liking him since The Witcher. That's what I said.
Yeah. But he wanted to do a better version of Superman. He wasn't it's not like he was saying, I only need to do the Snyder version. He wanted to bring back what people wanted, which was, the Superman that everybody knows. So
it's not all bad news at DC. I have one bit of good news. Channing Dungey, CEO of Warner Brothers Television, says it's close to a deal with Amazon for DC branded animation content. They're looking at other studios to slash production costs as they no longer believe everything needs to be made in-house with rising costs. So Amazon might have some DC animation coming forward. They're definitely going cheap. I noticed that though, because
good.
Because they also have Westworld, Raised by Wolves, and other shows are leaving HBO Max because
Raised by Wolves is leaving. What?
Yeah, if you haven't, I gotta finish now. And you know why it's leaving? It's not leaving forever, but they're going on.
Cheers to
they're
the
going
loss.
they're going on free streaming networks, so you can still watch it. Like there's Pluto TV and like two other ones. They got
Tubi.
these free streaming networks. They're going to these
Yeah,
free streaming networks with ad support.
yeah.
So they're not going to be in HBO Max, but you still be able to watch them with ads. So they're looking for revenue everywhere. So they're letting animation go to Amazon. They're letting these big shows go on these free streaming services to get paid. It's very interesting.
I can't believe they're doing that to Raised by Wolves, though.
Well, I mean,
Westworld, I think, makes sense. It was really done.
it's
Like,
finished.
honestly,
Yeah.
the show felt finished. And I'll probably still watch it when it comes back, but mostly
Is there
because I like
supposed
the actors and the characters. But, and it wasn't,
makes
for them, I know for them it wasn't done, so I'd like to see what they consider done. But Raised by Wolves is interesting because that was very good.
It was
Do you
good,
watch
but I was starting to get bored. I didn't even finish the first season. I was starting to get bored of it. It was getting redundant.
really?
It was good. It is
Gotta
good.
finish it. Gotta finish it. It goes to crazy places.
Is there even supposed to be a season 3 if it's going to these free platform?
Oh, they left it pretty open. Well, now I guess it's going there, but it had both seasons were phenomenal. They were really good. It does
It
start
might
off slow, but it has the second season had such a powerful. Sorry, the first season had a powerful image, well, powerful ending, and the second season I was surprised, but there was all this stuff that's going on, and it's good. Like if you watch it, we could talk about it because there's a lot of stuff that happens there.
I'm behind. There might be a Breaking Bad effect. Put it on a free platform, let people get interested in it, build the audience when season
Yeah,
3 comes back. Although I
yeah.
would say that would work better on Netflix than. But I don't know. I never used these free streaming services. Have you used them before?
Oh, I thought you did. I could have sworn you
Mm-mm.
told me you did. No, I do. I use it.
I've
It's
heard of
fun.
them.
I use Tubi, so I have my little,
Tubi.
yeah, my little Echo Dot, and like when I'm getting ready, I play like Tubi stuff.
I
Actually, I
the
watch stuff from El Rey on Tubi from
Nice.
the network I used to work for.
I use the Fire Stick, and sometimes they'll have free IMDb movies.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
which is IMDb is associated with Amazon apparently.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense because it's all Amazon. Yeah,
Yeah,
I noticed that.
it's fine. I'm surprised you don't watch anything free on there. It has commercials, but I mean that's how I'm doesn't bother me. It's how we used to watch things before. So
Now I'm never going back to those dark ages. Ad block, baby.
but I'm sure there are many people that do already actually.
So are you excited at all for a reboot of DC Universe at all?
I don't know if excited is the word because what I was really excited about was Henry Cavill coming back, to be honest, as far as the DC films. Like if Ezra Miller hadn't been such a fuck up, I know you said you don't really like him, but I actually like him as an actor. I liked him as the Flash. Like that film seemed like it could, I'm sure it will be really cool. I was excited about that, and I love the character the Flash. I watched the Grant
I like
Gustin
him as an actor.
show.
He's just a piece of shit human being.
Exactly, it's just disappointing. Yeah. So I don't know. I I don't know if I'm like a DC fan. It's just that tend to like their stuff because it's dark and like I would say the thing that I fangirled most about was because I love Superman. I loved having, a series or a potential series. You never got one with Henry Cavill. The Joker was excellent. I'm excited about the next Joker with Lady Gaga, the musical, the
Not
sequel.
excited for that.
Oh, I'm
Not excited
excited.
for that.
Well, I'm excited. The Batman, I loved it with Robert Pattinson. I didn't care that they didn't have like Marvel whole like universe that worked together. To me, it was just like as long as it was good, that's all that mattered to me.
You just reminded me too, which is really interesting. They are not gonna have the new Batman in the new universe, which I thought was interesting because that would be the perfect place to start.
Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, since it's a brand new Batman, he's already not connected to that universe. I was surprised. People pointing out since it's like the more realistic, which is comical, it's not very realistic Batman, but whatever. That's why it won't be part of it. But I don't see why
Because
not.
it won't be part of it because it's too realistic or not realistic.
That's the some people are saying, well, it wouldn't fit because he's that Batman is like so realistic. Like, no, it's not. Like that dude literally flew under a bridge with his dumb little bat suit, hit the bridge and like flipped in the floor. Like, dude, that would have killed anybody. That is, he had a bomb blow up in his face. Like, come on, bro. That movie's so not realistic. It's so overrated. It's an average film, man. It's just so bad. Not bad,
No,
but just average. It's
I don't
just
know if it was
average. So
average, but there were I would say
pretentious.
there were elements that I was like, okay. But Robert Pattinson though, I thought he killed it. You didn't think he killed it?
When no, when
Really? Oh, I loved
he's
him
a
as
terrible Bruce Wayne, and like when he's like shirtless and he's hitting the floor or something like that, it's like, bro, you look anorexic. Like this guy's beating people up. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. And he's
oh my
nah,
gosh.
nah. He was no, still not a delivering as an actor. I'm sorry.
Did you like Ben
He's
Affleck?
changed now. Yeah, he was. I was excited for Ben Affleck. I knew he loves the character. He's ripped. I knew he wasn't gonna be bad like Daredevil again. And that Batman was cool. It's too bad that Batman should have got a movie too. I already got over that a long time ago. He should have had his own movie. That would have been
Oh,
dope.
that was disappointing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that he
But
was more like evil.
I love the DC storylines. They're darker, they're cool. So, and James Gunn is cool. Like, I like his writing.
You
He's
know,
not just fun. I think he writes with a lot of heart too. So,
you know
and that's
what they're fucking up. They should have hired Paul Dini to run the DC universe. He's the one that did the whole Batman animated series and the Justice League, Superman, all those cartoons.
that could
Paul
be
Dini.
cool.
Then he created Harley Quinn, and then he's been helping the DC for a long time in storylines and
That's cool.
animation, and then the live action. It should have been him actually. He's like there's that Star Wars guy that he should be actually running Star Wars too. What's the James Filoni?
Dave Filoni. Yeah.
James Filoni should actually be in complete charge
Yeah.
of Star
Everybody
Wars.
says
He's the one. Yeah, he
that.
should be. Not
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy, not anybody. It should be James Filoni. Paul Dini should be in charge of DCU. That being said, I
Yeah.
trust James Gunn. He's going to be writing the Superman movie.
Oh,
Hopefully,
that's so disappointing because Superman's like my favorite DC character. And it's just like, this is just so frustrating. I'm
let
like,
him Kevin Feige this shit or
huh?
Feige Feige, whatever his name is.
What about him?
Let him do his thing like Kevin Feige.
I don't know. It's just so sad, so disappointing. I just
I'm over the Snyderverse. It needs to be killed, and it will be.
That's fine. I don't care about the Snyder. I actually like the
It's
Snyderverse,
just
but I don't care that people want to kill that. That's fine to me. It's more that they Henry Cavill loves Superman. He was a great Superman, and we're getting rid of it. It's just ridiculous. He looks like him. He looks like him. I mean, it's just crazy. And he's a great actor. Like, if anything, he's proven himself more now than he did back then. You know,
that first movie was just bad, and all those
whatever.
Justice League
I don't think
movies.
so, but whatever. That's fine. We don't need that version. I'm okay without that version. I love it, but it's fine. Um, but that doesn't mean we cancel Henry Cavill. We didn't cancel Gal Gadot. She gets
He's not canceled. The whole week Gal Gadot gets the stage. She's not getting her third movie.
yeah, but
She's done.
yeah,
They're
but they
done.
said apparently she could still come back as Wonder Woman, right? She's not gone as Wonder Woman.
I don't know that.
That's what I read.
I don't know that. I
I
doubt
don't know.
it. She's not
I
getting
mean,
any
James
younger
Gunn's
either.
got a lot on his plate anyway. So who knows? I don't know. Did he mention? Do you know if he mentioned if he's connecting the shows at all to the films? I do love the shows.
I no, I don't know. I would avoid that at all costs for a while. It's even
Mhm.
Marvel. It's not connecting good. I would avoid it for now. Just get the movies going.
I'm just wondering because Titans is really good, Doom Patrol is really good, Grant Gustin's The Flash is really good. Although that one's, I think they already ended the series, but um, they just have
They
some
just
good
announced they're doing the last
shows.
season, like season
Yeah,
10 or something.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting? He didn't cancel Peacemaker. I will say that. I think he's still getting a season two. That shit was great. So
Yeah, because he did it. Oh my God, that's just so annoying.
I will say, I guess the only reason
Okay,
is
I
what
just read this news blurb just came out 2 hours ago. Henry Cavill's Superman cameo reportedly cut from The Flash. Are you fucking kidding me?
they cut a lot of stuff, but yeah, I didn't know that.
I was just so stupid.
Because they don't want you to get hyped for another movie at this point, so they got to cut them.
Ah, so disappointing. I'm sure it'll be good, I guess, but I don't know. I was almost gonna type, I'm not going to see any of the DC movies because of what he did when I was texting. But I'm sure I'll still go.
All right, this I only got one other news story here. Did you watch The Haunting of Hill House?
I did.
And I didn't see his other shows. I tried watching season 2 of Hill House. It wasn't good. But he dropped like 2 shows since then. Apparently, they're all been popular. But Mike Flanagan, creator of Haunting of Hill House, is adapting Dark Tower for Amazon. He
Yeah,
has 5 season plans. Dark Tower is the magnus opus of Stephen King,
yeah.
and that's kind of his multiverse because there's characters, I guess, from his books that show up or whatever.
Ooh.
Honestly, I mean, I never read those books. But for what I know, the story is really big and long. It was never going to work as a movie, so it makes sense to do it as a TV show.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, Amazon adapted Paper Girls too, which was a popular comic book series, and now it's canceled. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're canceling things too frivolously. And there was a solid fan base, maybe not enough, but I'm sure it could have built. Um, I'm sure it could have kept building. It was good. It was a solid show. So I don't know.
But it's
I'm
funny,
hopeful.
Amazon was tooting their horn that they're the number one streaming service now over Netflix. It's like, bro, most of those people don't even use Prime Video. They're just there for the Prime, the shipping and whatnot. They're not there to. Doesn't count. Especially
So
when, yeah, I mean,
they say they have the most viewers.
well, because they have more accounts, because more people have Prime accounts than Netflix accounts. So they're saying they're the number one streaming service right now. It's like, no. A lot of people forget that they have Prime Video, dude. It's like, it's insane. They're not using it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's a good ad for them, I guess. I
I
mean,
hope it's good.
as far as Dark Tower, our dad's read it. He loves it, and I think he loved the
Well,
movie. I think he thought it was awesome.
I
I
know
never
the
saw the
main.
movie.
I didn't watch it. The main character was inspired by Clint Eastwood, I believe.
That's
And if do
cool.
you remember The Mist?
Oh yes,
In the
yeah,
beginning of the movie, he does movie posters. He's a movie artist, right? Or whatever.
right.
There's
Yeah, yeah.
a painting of the Dark Tower right there that he painted.
Shit, that's awesome.
That's the only thing that's going to be missing because it's supposed to be like his little connecting multiverse. There's no
Yeah.
Stephen King shows to shout out, so I don't know how that's going to work. There's movies that I don't think they're going to connect to this show.
Well,
I don't know how the rights
There are Stephen King shows as far as like successful ones. Actually, I think Outcast
on
was
Amazon
good.
though.
Oh, on Amazon? I don't know. I thought you were just saying Stephen King shows in general to shout out. Because I'm pretty sure. Oh no, that wasn't Stephen King. I thought it was. But in any case, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like you said, it's hit or miss. And then what if it is a hit and they just cancel it? That's also a
Well,
possibility.
Paper Girls wasn't a hit, but they should have let it become one unless it was so expensive
Yeah,
to make or something. I don't know. Because I would have watched it, right? So you recommended it after the season was finished. I would have
yeah.
watched it. I'm not gonna watch it now if it's not gonna continue. You
I know.
know,
It's
it's
so
like
stupid. Yeah.
word of mouth on regular. It doesn't. It's not the same as it used to be, right? Like look at Seinfeld. It's one of my favorite shows, but that first season is really bad. It's not
Yeah.
good. And but it was a short season, so it didn't cost as much. Maybe that's why they kept giving it a chance. Because even season 2, it was an upgrade, but it wasn't until like maybe season 3 it started getting its feet. That's what they used to do. It's still
Yeah.
rocky roads to get to season 3 and keep going,
Mhm.
but They did
Yeah.
become one of the best shows ever. They don't do that as much, especially the streaming stuff. Netflix, man, you're lucky to get to three.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, they can. Yeah.
So like Community, right?
Breaking Bad had the same situation. They weren't a successful show at all until they went to Netflix.
And that was a couple seasons later, and like they
Yeah.
had you gotta. It's like Community, my show Community, right? The Rick and Morty writer, 6 seasons in the movie.
Dave Harmon
When
or Dan
Dave
Harmon.
Harmon,
Dan.
yeah, Dave Harmon, yeah, Dan Harmon. Their joke was whole 6 seasons in the movie.
Not cool, not cool, not cool, not cool. Hey, buddy. Hey, it's coming back in January. 6 seasons in a movie. 6 seasons in a movie.
Because usually after season 6, the quality usually goes down. You hit your peak at season 3, and then season 4 is about more of the same. Season 5 it declines a little. Season 6 you're getting tired of it. So that's where you end it. Then maybe have a movie. But if you can't even get to season 3, you're never going to see if there's a peak or not. So
I know it's just so disappointing. Which, talking about Dan Harmon, are you watching Rick and Morty? Are you caught up? Did you watch the finale?
No, I didn't see the finale yet. I saw like 2 episodes. Well, we don't not talking spoilers here anyway. We can talk about next week though. How many? I saw like 2. How many? Is it done already? Just barely came back.
It was so sad. It's so sad that it's over because it's such a phenomenal show. What we could talk about is that what do you think about them being linear now? I'm sure you've seen that, right? Because before it was just like an adventure.
Jumping the universes.
Yeah, they were just like going on an adventure. But now it's it's literally like back to back. Before they didn't connect it at all. Like you could literally be watching different Rick and Mortys from different universes and you would never know. But now they're truly showing you this is one family, and they couldn't even space travel for a while. They are interdimensionally travel for a minute. For like
it kind of started happening last year with that.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and now linear. It's interesting.
I'm sure eventually they'll go back to that, but at the same time, people don't want different families. They want the main story. They want canon episodes. They talk about it's canon, okay? Like canon. People want canon episodes. They don't want. So you could get away with it back then. I mean, maybe they'll go back to it one day, but people want canon episodes. They don't want.
Well, it's interesting because they're always kind of shocking you with their stuff, and in a way, by them being linear, they shocked me. It's just so different.
Stop spoiling the episode, all right?
I'm not spoiling anything. I didn't even say anything. I'm saying the direction they've taken as far as being linear is interesting.
Okay.
When you watch it, let me know because the finale was interesting.
We got a question. We got a fan question from I think your friend. Well, it's your friend. It wasn't on the main page. I think it was Marie. A movie that you saw at a young age that made you interested in film.
Oh.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was on your Facebook.
It was on my Facebook? Oh, you mean
the question? The question. Yeah, the question was on Facebook.
No, I didn't see that she commented.
Seriously? You responded to it, bro. It was 2 weeks ago, though.
Oh, well, that was 2 weeks ago, yeah. I've had a lot of wine since then. So, as far as like what got me interested, I feel like it's hard to say. I mean, I always say it's Star Wars, but I don't know if I literally looked at it and said like I want to work in movies. I feel like since I was little, I wanted to tell stories because I love the idea of escapism, and I feel like we were always escaping in films. And I feel like with Star Wars, it really was like I could rewatch that as a little girl over and over again and feel like I want, and sadly, I don't know if it's sad, but everybody loves Empire for a long time. I actually liked Return of the Jedi because I was a kid watching it and it was the happier one. I liked the Ewoks. I liked seeing all the characters. Like I loved seeing the happy ending. I feel like that really got me. I feel like that was one of the films in the main film that got me into films. But then we watched everything. We watched Indiana Jones a lot. So that one's one of my favorites. I remember supposedly Daddy took me to the theaters at around 6 years old, and I remember this. And I didn't want to watch the Disney movie that came out. I wanted to watch Rocky. I don't know if you remember if you liked Rocky or as a little kid. Did you like Rocky? Or no, it wasn't Rocky.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rambo. He took me to see Rambo, and I was so excited. And I came home, and I was telling you guys the whole story. Um,
Wow, we didn't go. The
no,
fuck? The heck? Typical.
I'm sure you got your dates too.
So I'm curious because you said, so do you consider the Star Wars prequels your generation of Star Wars?
Yes, it is, but it is our generation, Josh.
Hey, I was born in '83. Part 3 came out in '83.
It doesn't mean that you like it the most. It just means like, oh, those came
I
out. You
do
got to
like it.
like, you like the prequels the most.
No, the prequels, no.
That's what I'm saying. Just because it's your generation's whatever, it doesn't mean that you have to like it the most. But yeah, I do feel that the prequels were my generation. You know, I was able to go to the theaters and see it, and I love the prequels, and that was like the coolest experience that I could have ever had, like after already being a fan and seeing kids like fighting with lightsabers and buying tickets for the midnight screening. Like at 20, at 19, and I never did that stuff.
Being
Um,
let
as a
being let
kid.
down was cool.
Wasn't let down. I love the prequels.
Bad. See, and that's the thing. I don't consider those my generation Star Wars just for the fact those movies were made for babies, and all those kids love those movies, like Giovanni and stuff.
Um,
I had a coworker younger than me. He's like, "Oh, I love Jar Jar." Like, oh my god, because it wasn't for
I
me.
love Jar Jar.
George Lucas made it very clear that movie wasn't made for me. It was made for kids. I wasn't a kid at that point. I'm a teenager
Okay,
almost.
but that's not
It's
what he
like
said.
'99. Is that
He
yes, you did.
said no. He said the first one, Phantom Menace, was for kids. Then Attack of the Clones was for teenagers, and Revenge of the Sith was for adults. And that is true. Kids can't see Revenge of the Sith.
Kids
That's what
can't
he
see
said.
it.
No.
Revenge of the Sith is the only one I like, but
Yeah, and okay, makes sense. He said he made that one for adults.
anyways, well, I don't
So
know
what
if
got
per
you
se.
into movies?
I mean, we grew up on movies, so I mean, probably all of them. Like,
Mhm.
but I mean, the one that had the most impact was when I was 10 with Jurassic Park. I mean, that was like seeing Spielberg at his peak, because
Yeah,
we didn't get to see Jaws and all that. I mean that.
exactly. It's your generation Spielberg
Well, that came
movie.
out. That's like 10 years before I was born. That's like 10 years before I was born. Part 3 came out when I was born in Star Wars, but part 6, whatever you want to call it. But yeah,
It's
most
your
impact like
generation Spielberg.
but that was like, I mean, there was other movies, but like Batman '89 was an experience as well. I remember Batman Returns. That was like fucking. We went to actual blockbusters because you
Yeah,
actually did have to line up to get a
yeah.
movie. And I remember Batman Returns, which is probably before Jurassic Park. I had to sit by myself because I sat by
For
myself.
Batman
I think
Returns?
he sat with, I think he sat with Jonathan or you or maybe just Jonathan. I don't know if you were there or not, but I remember I just had a set by myself because it was so
Yeah.
packed. We couldn't sit
Oh,
together. But that's how it was back then. But the biggest impact for me was '93 Jurassic Park. But I mean, we grew up in
yeah,
so many. We were going to movies. I saw Total Recall. Totally not age appropriate for me to see Total Recall, but I only had to
yeah.
cover my eyes and the boobs. He took me to
Yeah.
see Phantasm when I was like 4. Phantasm
Yeah,
2
me
when I was like
too.
4.
That was
Had
traumatic.
nightmares. Yeah, I
Yeah,
had
I did
nightmares. My
too.
mom was pissed. She's because I was sleeping
Yeah,
in
our
the living
mom.
room.
Yeah, she was mad.
My mom.
All
My
right.
mom, bro. Yeah, her mom was pissed. Well, you're not the one that had nightmares. I was the one with nightmares. She
I
was
did.
pissed.
What are you talking
You
about? I had
did?
nightmares. Yes.
Really? Because he always dogs me about it because I got him in trouble. He didn't say you had
Oh,
nightmares too.
because I didn't go to mommy and say anything. I'm not a
Well,
rat.
then you weren't that scared. Then you weren't that scared if you didn't say anything. What do you
No,
mean?
I was terrified. But I wasn't 4. I was 6, so it's different.
Whatever.
I was terrified though. I had nightmares for days. So I was not happy after watching that movie. I was like, what the hell?
And I don't know. You remember too? I used to have a lot of nightmares back then, though. Or
Yes, you had
just
to sleep with the rosary.
yeah, I had to sleep with the Rosemary.
Rosary.
Oh, Rosary. Whatever. What's the difference anyway? What's the difference of a rosary and like is that just a cross or why
The
is it called a
rosary has,
rosary?
I guess, well, it has beads that and so every bead you're supposed to like say a prayer. So the
Really?
cross symbolizes, yeah, the cross just symbolizes Christ, but the beads.
You
like
know
you're
what?
supposed to-
I'll say I'm not very religious anymore. I used to be, but I will say with the rosary and
Yeah.
those nightmares, about 3 times, uh, that rosary came off my neck, and I still remember one dream, particularly to this day. I was having a good dream,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, it switched. I was in a barber shop, and all these like gremlins things started coming after me and shit. And I was
Yeah.
terrified. And I woke up, and I was just like, the first thing I reached for was the rosary, and it was not on my fucking neck, dude. I was like, what the fuck? And I was
Yeah.
freaking out. I had to look everywhere until I finally found it, like tucked away somewhere. I was like, dude, how the hell did it come off my neck?
Yeah.
And put it back on. Had a good sleep
I
again.
remember. Yeah, you would freak out because sometimes it would fall out of the bed, and
Yeah, it would just come off my neck like
you would
three
have
times,
yeah.
and one I still remember.
I had a somewhat of a similar experience, not like that, not with a dream, but I was like more religious as well when I was living alone, and I was living in an apartment, and somebody said that the person that lived there before was sort of like into like dark stuff, and I would used to wear a rosary daily, but the it started irritating me. Oh, Delgado, no, don't do that.
It's a ghost.
No, it's Sunday. But I started getting a rash where my rosary was. So I thought that was interesting.
I want a snack.
Okay,
I've been waiting
Grandpa.
and waiting.
Okay, I'll be right there, okay?
Oh, well, we're at the end of the show, Friday. We just do movie recommendations. Does Friday want to recommend a movie?
Friday, Uncle Josh said, do you want to recommend a movie for people to watch? No? Okay. Do you want to recommend a movie, mamas?
No.
Okay.
She wants a
Just
snack.
straight out, All right.
You have a
I'll
recommendation?
Yes, I do. It's called Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. It's a Fantastic Fest film, or I saw it at Fantastic Fest. It's about it's a very like it's an interesting film. It's sci-fi, and it's about this group of people that realize that they have a way of seeing into the future, but 2 minutes into the future, and so it's about what they do with that, and it's really good. I don't know if I could even explain it that well, but I highly recommend it. I would play the trailer. It's actually on Amazon Prime now, I believe, for free. The director's Junta Yamaguchi. And the premise that they wrote here was a cafe owner discovers the TV in his cafe suddenly shows images from the future, but only 2 minutes into the future. Yeah, so that's what I said. It says here masterpiece of filmmaking. It's so good, and I feel like it's one of those movies that just goes under your radar and you'll miss it. But it's so good. It's called Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes, and I saw it at Fantastic Fest last year. So
Okay.
good.
I'm going to recommend
for it too.
because a new story just came out that they're getting closer to gene splicing, where they can get rid of hereditary genes and stuff like that. They're or bad for you. They can give you good genes and whatnot. I don't know. Did you remember the movie Gattaca?
Oh, I love Gattaca. That's actually one of my all-time favorite films.
Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, if I
Yeah.
remember.
Oh yeah, I watched that one. I just watched it like a few months ago again.
So it's great. It's a great movie. Under the radar, people probably forgot about it. But so they're getting close to doing what that movie's about, where you can have your babies predisposed to be athletic and blah blah whatever. I don't know.
Not surprised.
But there's a lot of prejudice that comes with that, so we never look at the bad side of it. So watch Gattaca and see if you really want to make your kids special.
I agree.
I would anyway. I would though, but
You think would you do that?
I would. If you could, well, because you can if you can get rid of like predisposition, like what's his name, Thor guy, predisposition. I can't say it right now.
Yeah, he's
high risk for Alzheimer's whatnot. I would, obviously, I would do that. Yeah, if I could make them guarantee they're going to be taller or something too, if they could make them more healthier. Well, yeah, why not? As long as it's safe.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to be 5'7" right now, I would, it would be great.
I know it is kind of sad though to see like I don't know would I have chosen Friday? I mean I'm sure I would have,
No,
But it's
it's like making Friday the best version of herself. It's not like you wouldn't get Friday. She'd just be different. But
Okay.
obviously, there would definitely be a dark side to it. Just like, oh, I want the kid to have blue eyes. Blue eyes are pretty. They're not actually. They don't protect you against the sun. So a lot of them have actually eye vision. People with blue eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently, I just learned this that we all have blue eyes, but with the brown layer is what protects us from the sun. So you
Yeah.
could technically get rid of it, but then that's why a lot of them have hard. A lot of people with blue eyes have harder vision
Yeah.
because especially against the sun, because they're not getting the protection that they need. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that probably happened where
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I
Latinos
agree
might
with
look
you
less
about
Latino
Spotify.
because they want to be whitewashed. Like it's a whole lot of stuff that could happen
But
in between.
even beyond that, it's like suddenly we're playing God. I mean, we're already doing that, I suppose, but we're really
It's
playing God if we do that.
Yeah, it always depends how you look at it. Well, the God give you the knowledge to even figure this out.
Yeah,
Like they say,
yeah,
you're made from Him. So it's always that
yeah.
thing.
And I'm
And then
getting old now, so I'm more old school.
that's the thing too. You never know. Like, can they regrow your liver or something too? Like, keep you alive longer.
Well, I am one of those people that wants to live forever or at least
Hell
300
yeah,
years. You do
hell
too?
yeah.
Because, you know, and Marie's listening. Marie and I are like the only ones we know that want to live a long time. Most people they don't,
Well, they don't want to be
but
old.
I do.
That's
I
the
kind of
difference. They don't want
no,
to be
they
old
don't.
and
They don't.
alive. It's not comfortable.
They don't live 300 years. They don't. Well, yeah, they don't want to be old, but they also don't want to live 300 years. Everyone we talk to, which is interesting.
That's
And we're both like, oh wow, we both want to live a long time. Like I want to see what happens in the future.
that's weird to me, but okay. People just want to die. They had enough of this planet.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
You know
Or
what'd be
they had
interesting too? You watch Batman Beyond, right? The cartoon.
no. Well, okay, because does that include the films? Don't they have films?
No,
Spin-off?
that we talked about it last week. We could have had one. That one I'm more disappointed about that they
Because
canceled that.
I watched I watched a film that Chris introduced me to, and apparently it's popular. Ghost something, the Phantom Batman.
The Phantasm, yeah, whatever.
I'm sure you know that one.
That's the regular Batman one, yeah. Mask of the Phantasm, I
Mask
think.
of the Phantasm, yeah, because that was very good. It's the
It was
same
good.
animated style, though,
It's
right?
it, it's the movie that continues from the cartoon from the 90s.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what you're talking about is different.
So you never watched Batman Beyond?
Oh no, I never watched that.
You
I
never
guess
watched it? Oh my god, it's good. And there's the movie's
everybody talks
really
about
good. Return of the Joker is really good, and it connects to
Okay.
that 90s connects to the 90s Batman show. But in the show, they have the gene splicing to the level where like they're like half hyena, half human, stuff like that. So they take it
Wow.
even farther there. Like
Wow.
humanoid with
That's so cool. I gotta watch this because
You
I
should
love
watch
sci-fi.
Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very
Try to get
futuristic.
me to watch it.
Especially so you got to watch it so then you can watch the movie and enjoy it. But yeah, it's good.
Chris, I think, is gonna go to the dark side because he's a Marvel fan, but he loves Batman and he loves James Gunn. So I feel like
I'll
he's
say
gonna
the
switch.
dark side.
He's gonna switch to DC now, like the dark side.
All right, that's it for the pod. Go back to the movies. Get your butts in the
Go back to
chairs.
the movies. Yeah, I was gonna say you guys forgot to say that. Go back to the movies.
Yeah, hit the like button when you watch. Hit the like button. We need that. So hit the like button. I'm sure you're already subscribed, but hit the like button.
It's the thumbs up signal like that.
Let us know that you were here. All right, go get my niece a snack. I don't
Okay.
want people saying you're a bad parent.
All right.
Adios.
See you later. Go back to the movies.
Back to the movies.